Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. What a night of Champions League football, and Liverpool lose at Anfield again, 4-1 to PSV. Arsenal beat Bayern, brilliant in the second half. We'll talk about them in a few minutes, but we have to start with Liverpool. What is going on? 7 goals conceded in their last 2 games at Anfield and only 1 scored. If you thought Forest was bad, this is even worse. Destroyed, taken apart by PSV and never in the game. Catastrophic attacking and criminal defending. And I tell you what, I will speak of experience here. As a Manchester United fan, if there's one thing we're great at, it's sacking managers over the last decade. And I tell you what, I can read these situations like a book. And I'm telling you, Liverpool fans, your manager looks lost and your players have down tools. And that, unfortunately, if you are a fan of Slot, I think the writing is on the wall. West Ham at the weekend becomes very, very important. But the biggest problem Liverpool have got is they are really, really crap. And, you know, the players you have, that shouldn't be the case. And how you've gone from title winners to this mess is incredible. And there are reasons for it. We've spoken about what happened with Jota in the summer, players leaving, new players not adapting. There's a multitude of reasons, but let's just say for a moment, we acknowledge all those reasons and they're plentiful, but that doesn't stop the fact that you can't lose games like they're losing at the moment. And action has to be taken. And, you know, after the Forest game, you expect the response. And when the players don't respond, you've got a problem. So I think Slot's in big trouble. The issue I would say is, there's only when you sack a manager just before Christmas, which is what they're probably going to have to do if they do it. Speaking from experience, United have done this 3 times. Mourinho, Ten Hag and Ollie. And it didn't work out any of those times, really. Ollie did quite well in the short term. That would be the equivalent of giving it to Steven Gerrard. And then you've got Rangnick and Amorim, which, you know, didn't go well in the first few months. And Rangnick left and Amorim's still here. So I'd say unless someone like Jurgen Klopp is willing to come in and knows the club and can do it, it might not work out that well if you sack him, but that doesn't mean you can't sack him. It doesn't mean you shouldn't sack him. It's incredible, you know, and I can't lie, as a United fan, I'm watching it with, you know, startled eyes but happy smiles because they're our biggest rival. But it's similar in a sense to what we had on Monday night, where the fans turn up, the manager does his thing, and then the players just inexplicably don't get the brief. And it's amazing how much this happens when, you know, the writing's on the wall in a sense. And those players are not... I always put it like this. You can have a really bad season, and then on the final day, you're going to get relegated if you don't win. And you go away to somewhere difficult, let's say Arsenal, and you're Burnley. And it wouldn't surprise you if Burnley won the game 2-0 because they're playing for they're playing to stay up. They're playing for wages because they'll get a wage cut. You know, they're playing to survive, really. And you see that, and then you look at Liverpool and you go, like, you've had so many bad results. Like, how many losses have they had in their last 10 games? It's got to be 8 or 9. Like, if you can't be motivated in front of your own crowd, you're definitely doing it for a reason. And as I said, I've seen this happen with Ten Hag. I've seen it happen with Ollie. I've seen it happen with Mourinho. Players collectively start to blame the manager because they can't blame themselves. So when they're not fighting for the manager, it's because they're blaming the manager. You know, they hear all the criticism from the pundits and the fans, and they're like, we're getting all this shit. I don't think it's my fault. I think it's his fault. And then that gets in their heads. And whilst they think they might be trying, they're not. And I think with Liverpool, it's abundantly clear. You can't concede 7 goals in 2 games. It's incredible. So what do I think happens next? I think he gets the West Ham game. And I think if he loses that, you know, we're probably saying on Sunday it's time to go. I think there'll be a lot of people saying it's time to go now. But I would say Liverpool don't have anything in place for it to happen now. And again, from experience, you start to get these results very, very quickly and you're going, there needs to be a change, but the club aren't prepared for it. So I think Liverpool will be putting things in place in case they need to do it. But I don't think he'll get the sack now. But look, the way the players are performing, I think it's inevitable at the moment. I can't see a turnaround. Can you? On to Arsenal. Wow. You know what? I looked at the Arsenal-Bayern Munich game weeks ago and I went, Bayern Munich are playing so well. Arsenal, we know, are playing so well. Then Bayern beat PSG in Paris. And I was like, well, it's Arsenal, Bayern Munich for the best team in the world at the moment. Because if you're the best team in Europe, you're the best team in the world. That's not arrogance, it's a fact. So Arsenal are the number one. They've got home advantage, but I think their first half was very equal. Second half, they dominated them. Absolutely dominated them. And 3-1 was the right result. Does that mean Arsenal are going to win the Champions League? It wouldn't mean Bayern were going to win the Champions League if they'd won. It's November and, you know, Real Madrid could be up for it. PSG could be up for it. Who knows what's going to happen? But I think you can only do what you can do in front of you. And Arsenal at the moment just look very, very, very difficult to beat. They're defensively strong. When you score against them, it tends to be a good goal, as we saw with Richarlison at the weekend and with Carl tonight. And they're creating chances. And I know there'll be some criticism of them scoring from a corner, but the second half it was 1-1. And they created loads of chances from open play. They are very good at corners, but they're just ridiculously strong. And again, I would relate it to United in the sense that they've bought so well and they've relentlessly done it. And they've built this super squad where they can be without Gabriel, Gyökeres, Odegaard. Trossard goes off early and they don't even feel it because they've got Mosquera, Hincapié, he didn't play. You know, they can leave Calafiori out and play Lewis Skelly. They've got so much depth and quality. And they're all hungry for it, and they're all working hard for each other, and they're all playing well together. It's very difficult to see how this drops off. I don't think, maybe Man City, but I haven't seen a team that's just got so many options, is playing so well, and is so dominant. It's very difficult to see how it drops off. It's very difficult to see where every club apparently has a bad run, but I don't see where it happens with Arsenal at the moment. It's an incredible statement win today. And, you know, we're looking at that Chelsea game on Sunday. And even if Chelsea were capable of beating them, I think Arsenal would go and win their next 5 or 6 games anyway. And then the gap that might be there, the vulnerability that might be there is disappeared. And that's the thing. When you look at the league table, Chelsea's record against Arsenal, even though it's only 6 points, Arsenal aren't conceding goals. They've only lost 1 game, and that was a worldie by Szoboszlai. So I think, I think Arsenal just look too good at the moment. That's my theory, and they've taken that into Europe as well. So credit to them, fantastic performance, but overshadowed by Liverpool's incredible result. Let me know your thoughts. Smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe. I'll speak to you on the next one.